Hey people, I know it's been a long time, and yeah, so I'm coming on here to basically film my album, which I should have done last year, but I didn't finish it until early in 2024. So this is my December 2023 album for December Daily. So I'm going to do a flip through of the whole album now it's finished. So yeah, I'm just going to crack on, and if you have any questions about anything at all, pop it in the comments below and I'll try and get back to you. I'm just conscious that I wanted to kind of get this done as it's all ramping up at the moment for December Daily. So yeah, I sort of figured now was a good as time as any, because everyone seems to be kind of watching my older videos, I've noticed. So yeah, I figured I should probably do this one so you actually get a chance to see this, if it helps for decision making and general kind of ideas and things on the lead up to the release dates, which are coming this week, which is scary because we're in August. Fa la 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 August. But yeah, so here we go. I'll talk through bits as I go. And yeah, as I say, any questions, pop them below and I'll try and get back to you. I used a big old mix of Ali Edwards stuff, as I normally do. Like this guy, which was like a 3x6, one of the 3x6 transparencies, which I stitched together with a piece of vellum, and kind of punched using a die cut machine to create this circle, which then kind of creates like a little viewing hole to to my sort of first title page. This was cut out of one of the papers. I back a lot of stuff on glittery cardstock. That's kind of like the thing that I'm obsessed with, and I don't think it's ever really going to go away. So yeah, if you see my albums, I generally sort of punch a lot of things and back them onto glitter. I created this kind of 2 different textured papers, punched a load of holes, circles out using circle punches, stitched them on, and then that's kind of just, it looks just nice. It's sort of simple but busy, which is also something that I'm kind of quite into. I like to create sort of busyness but with kind of stripped back colours, so it kind of stands out. In here I just slid in my reason why for writing, back that on some stripy paper. So that's just living in this guy. Sorry, I'm not going to be like the smoothest at putting things back into things because it's always tricky. Yeah, so day one, it's quite a big day one, which it normally is because I tend to go and get the tree and things, so that tends to be quite a hectic. I created using the tree stamp. I think that was maybe even from the year before last, but I only purchased it last year. So I did a load of sort of embellishing and embossing on these trees, and then stitched them together in a little cluster. I did some little enamel dots, and my journaling for day one, kind of off of Ali's sort of early pages in her album where she was doing lots of half circles attached to other circles. I really loved that look, so used digital die cuts of the there was like half circles, there was stars, there was all kinds of different die cuts, but I used the digitals for those because it's more easy for me to use my die cutting machine to cut them out. Again, glittery cardstock, and just me and my husband's initials. I sandwiched that on some pizza because of course it is me. So I've got this Santa's Coming with Zar, and then stamped on just some grid paper a lovely cheese pizza just for me from Home Alone. And then that's just a little shaker pocket with some polka dot vellum, and behind that is a photograph of the tree that we ended up choosing. So yeah, on the first of the month we went and purchased our Christmas tree. So it's just me and my feet, and then a shot of the Christmas tree while I was kind of holding holding on to it because there was loads of people around. We found our ultimate tree, but it was right in a corner. I was a bit scared someone was going to come and try and nab it from me, so I was kind of hovering around with it while my husband went to try and find a man. Day two, I was up early in the morning. Me and my sister went to Lewis for the day, which is kind of near us. So I took a photo of the statue that was in the square, and then just kind of popped behind some little circle punches on Brad's, just some shots of what we kind of saw. So there was the Harvey's beer brewery that was in the car park next to where we were. More little embellished trees. That's sort of smaller shot of the square with their Christmas tree, which is this sort of blown up. It's really pretty there, and they do like really lovely stuff for Christmas. Lots of like little cute shops as well with loads of lovely things. This was a bakery there, so we got some really nice food in there. Whoops. And then, oh yeah, we just went to ask for lunch, so they had like a Christmas menu and all kinds of things, so took a little shot of that. So that was just sort of day 2, so hiding photos, or things where you don't necessarily have much to say. You know, sometimes these little kind of embellishment ideas are good for hiding bits and pieces behind them if you don't really know kind of, or you have pictures that you're not too happy about using as like I say a full photo for sort of spread. You could use that and kind of tuck them in behind things, or ephemera. You know, it's quite a sneaky way to do that. Day 3, and I used a digital of this More Sparkle Less Stress, and talked about my cat and my sister staying at the weekend, and then just like talking about Clem, and sort of what we were watching on the telly. I don't tend to do like Ali picks like stories, individual stories for each day of the month. I tend to really go like chronologically and just be like, what did I do that day? So sometimes there's sort of not a lot to say, and sometimes there's more, so that kind of helps with the photos. I'll try to sometimes reuse photos through the month on different days, but like most of the time what happened on that day I write down, so I sort of tend to deal with things that way. This was taken from an old Brandy Kincaid product play from like years ago, where she had this kind of photo flip out, so I kind of used that as how to kind of create this one for day 4, which was just me taking a picture of the tree with the decorations on it and one of our stockings, and just added these little stars back to back them, so we've got this nice little tab on there. This is day 5, so this was me just going out for a coffee run, and it's a little single admission. I tend to use embellishments from other kits and things as well, so like this is from a really old Maggie Holmes like carousel, you know, so I do add in and incorporate bits from just random stuff on my desk, so I tend to go through everything I own in around November and pull out anything that looks like vaguely Christmassy. This is another one of the die cuts from there's a little die cut kit. Again, just talking about getting up early, going to the shops, getting myself a latte. And this is a sort of scrap lift from an older Ali layout that she kind of used this kind of floating kind of circles, embellishments, a layered look that I really liked. And again, I love picking like a plain grid kind of background and then doing busy things on it, so you have a little white space for then busy elements, particularly if I'm having like a busy photo. I like to kind of mix that with something where there's lots of white space and then sort of chaos. So yeah, that's kind of how I roll. Day 6, this was from a Ali classroom. I can't remember what the lesson was, but it was one of the videos for one of the classes. So this is really cute. So this is just a tiny one of these frames, and then I've added in my tiny journaling, and then a little picture of one of the Christmas decorations that we got that year. So really sweet little Brussels sprout with a hat. So yeah, that just sort of slides in. That's raised up on foam pads, and that just slides in there. So I really like how that turned out. I'd like to do something again this year because I have some more of these frames still knocking around. Another one of the die cuts. And this was just me kind of filling in the prompts with just a bit of a fun font, so it just looked a bit more jazzy. I'm still not really there with my handwriting. I know a few of us are like that, so I tend to use like fonts to fill in things. I will get there with it. I'll embrace it eventually. Just a list of December loves. The only thing I did realise after I did this one was I only had 6, whereas I could have added one more into 7 loves for day 7, but I didn't do that. So that's a tip for me for this year, to pay attention to what I'm doing. This was a load of tiny digitals of various hearts from years ago, one of Ali's older kits, and I just printed them all out, clustered them together, and then stitched through them. So you can kind of make your own embellishments. You don't necessarily need the physical kits, you know, like this is just a nod that you can make things from digital look like a physical product by layering up, stitching, and then adding little embellishments here and there. Like that, you know, that's an really easy way to make something look like a more sort of polished thing if you just want to do digital stuff. So bear that in mind when, if you can't purchase the main products, if they've perhaps run out of them when you're searching for them in the shop, consider purchasing the digital version and then doing something like this. So that's just a kind of a reminder that if you do miss out, don't freak out, because, you know, there's options. We've got options. A little pocket I made with a picture of my husband making Star Wars Lego there on one side, and just backed it on some pattern paper. So yeah, again, talking about sort of photos where it's a bit hectic, I wouldn't have wanted that as a full page photo. So I've gone for small and hidden it in the pocket. That's kind of a good way to do that with any photos where you're a bit like, you want to have the photo because it's a nice photo, it's a nice memory, but maybe it's a bit leery. This is 2 backed digital papers again, of again an older Ali paper from a December album. It looks like a sort of tree, sort of wooden sort of tree, very pale grey, which is cute. Bits from Case of the Blahs, like a really old Pink Fresh kit. Here for just day 8 because it was a bit of a crap one. So yeah, so I just kind of added that on there and stitched that on. And this is all just talking about my cat being really sick. I mean, she's still really sick. We don't really know how long we have her for, really. At this point it looked really bad. Basically phlebotomy and lots of blood work and things. This is her on the way to the vets, but it was a really crappy time of the year and we just didn't know if she was going to make it, really. I mean, she's still kicking around now and it's August, you know. We're kind of nearly touching a year on from when it all kind of started. But yeah, bless her, she's still going strong. And we love her to pieces, so we'll see how long she stays with us for, but in the meantime we're just giving her lots of love and everything she wants she gets. So yeah, lots of pills, lots of medicine, and but lots of love. So yeah, that's just backed onto a train ticket from day 9, where we went to go and see a show in the Corn Exchange in Brighton, a comedian that we both really like. So I've got like a receipt from Five Guys where we had dinner, talking about going there and seeing the show. And then on this side, this is again another really old Maggie Holmes, maybe. I can't remember if this is Carousel. I'm not sure. It's a very old Maggie Holmes one though, that I used some sort of, added some, I don't have it, I don't know where it is, but, yes I do, haha. Yeah, it's Mink Reactive Mist. So basically it's like this slightly opaque mist that you can spritz on, but you can also like twist the lid out and just sort of flick it on. And then you let it dry, and then you put the foil on it and you send it through your mink machine, and then it kind of minks and foils sort of splashes. So it's really cool. I really like the look of it. And I'll probably do it again this year because I've done it for the last couple of albums. But yeah, this stuff is great. I really like it. And it's just a cheaper and easier way of doing things with the mink machine than, I know there's like this other foil machines and stuff, but they all seem a bit too high tech for me, so this is a bit more my speed. But yeah, this is just again more splashing of stuff inside. Just a photo of Brighton lights, and then me just sort of saying about never enough twinkle lights. And this was a paper. If you check out my Instagram feed and my videos, there's a video about how I made these. There's loads of different colour ones I did, but it's just my fingerprint with the paint that Ali sold last year, just acrylic paint, but it makes a fun background. So yeah, if you want to know more about that, then have a look on my Instagram feed. This is day 10, and this is just me with a little Starbucks red cup, and then I added my journaling onto some little tags, just stapled it on here, and just pattern paper on the back there. But that's just, I sliced into the picture so I could add this in, and then just it sort of slides in and pokes out the top, which is cute. So that's fun. This was a bit of a amalgamation of a few things. This was tester stuff for that first album, the first page in the album. This was kind of me playing around to see if that was possible. which waste not, want not. I used it as a pocket. I had it on some Krispy Kreme packaging that I had, stitched that on, and then I've got a pocket. So in here is just a couple of little bits, me about working from home, me on the train on my way to work, and then a picture from London as well. It's a view from my office. So yeah, just kind of generally talking about sort of working in December, and yeah, and that's a view from the train near where I live. So again, just sort of like taking pictures of what's around me and making sure to kind of add them in the album. This one's really pesky to get stuff back into because those circles, so I'm just going to leave that, or I'll be here all day. Day 12 was all about what I was listening to, so I just kind of made a little, page here where that's me with my coffee cup, and then talking about some of the bands that I was listening to when I was working from home, because I wasn't listening to much Christmas music. I was just listening to like a real mix of different stuff. So, and again, I did this a good couple of albums ago, maybe 2019, maybe December album, when my husband was away. So I didn't want to listen to Christmas music until he was back. So I just filled a pocket with loads of album covers. But you could easily do this with Christmas albums, you know, like go online, grab the album covers, and then just cut them out in little square punch and pop them in some pockets. So that's cool. So I did that on both sides. I kind of met the more kind of neutral ones on one side and then the more jazzy ones on this side. So yeah, working from home tunes, and just sort of, again, talking about that, working from home. My husband was staying with his friend. So yeah, just sort of talking about telly and bits and pieces. And then the rain, I just took a picture of the rain on the window and used that as a background, which you could do with snow or anything like that if you get snow where you live. Just a kind of like a neutral background, but it's still relevant to what was going on that day. Day 13, I had a little stroll to get a coffee in the morning. This is around where I live. So yeah, just talking about that, going to the village, getting drinks. Yeah, and how it was a nice sunny day, a sunny morning. That's me in the coffee shop, which has since closed down, so it's such a depressing thing. But yeah, it was a really lovely coffee shop and it shut close to Christmas. Actually, they knew that they were going to close on New Year's, so yeah, these were kind of like my last days of going into that lovely coffee shop. So yeah, it's a real shame that it's closed this year. I'm gutted. This was just repeat stamping of Wham, because they looked like they were going to make it to Christmas #1 last year, which they did do in the end, like years after obviously releasing Last Christmas. So yeah, I was talking about that and how cool that was, and yeah, just generally going on about my day, what I was up to. But yeah, so that's just in a little pocket page. It's gonna be hard to get back in. And that number, that 14, is from, I don't know if they're available in America, but Laura Ballora sells really lovely Christmas stuff as well. So if you're after like numbers, I would definitely check out Laura Ballora. If you have a look at Craftalier, they normally sell her stuff, or she has a website of her own, but I just don't know if they deliver to the US, so that's something to kind of investigate. But yeah, these beautiful vellum numbers, and there was some gold foil too that I got last year, which I've still got some left this year, so I'm quite pleased to use those again because they're just really pretty. Again, travelling into London to work, so I work right near Tower Bridge, so I was sort of out taking a picture of that in my lunchtime, and then just talking about sort of random bits that I was up to. This is one of the papers that I sort of folded over so I could use the whole thing because it was a 10 by 6. Is that right? 10 by 6 maybe. Yeah, really lovely, fun idea to use the whole thing and just sort of put some pictures in the squares or rectangles. So I've got a poem here from a poet that I really love. Picture of me and my husband when he fell asleep really early in bed with the cat in his arms, watching The Holiday, sort of podcasts and things I was listening to, pictures of like what we were watching on telly at the time, and just general kind of catch up of the day. So yeah, that was a fun thing to do, and I really liked adding just like a couple of embellishments. So these little chipboard stars are really fun to just add in a bit, bring in some colours from the pictures. So yeah, it's a really neat little easy way to do a day. Big 15 on there, and this has a slide out. which again, I loved using this. I kept using this big paper because it's so nice. But yeah, talking about watching Strictly and strolling to the shops, Zoom call with Taya, yeah, which was kind of a bit of a Christmas tradition for us to do that, which is really lovely. And then this page, which I just was like, I'm just going to use a load of circles. So I just went through all of my stuff, pulled out a load of circles, and then kind of layered them up. So yeah, a picture of Clem and just lots of embellishments and sort of fun things stacked up. It's not as just really easy, but it's one of my favourite things to do, is to just sort of stack stuff up on top of each other. This was an old product play from a couple of years back, so I was watching kind of videos to help me finish the album because I was outside of December at this point and was just like needing to finish. So looking for inspiration wherever I could find it. So yeah, just using little strips of paper packaging and little offcuts of papers and things to create this tree, which still looks cool on the reverse as well actually, so that's fun. So I just left that as it was. And then this is me travelling to my parents to see them. So I just took a little photo of me looking in the car mirror. So yeah, just talking about that, getting up, getting out the door, doing gift exchanges, because my family does big Secret Santa every year. So that's just me on the way there with my coffee cup, listening to Bud Pod with my husband. So that's fun. So yeah, just kind of looking for sort of day-to-day stuff really to kind of capture. Oops. This is an offcut as well, of just like stamping offcuts. So when I stamp and I clean the stamps and I just tap it on paper next to me, I save those because if the colours are really good, you can just use them for anything. I have this big tab punch. So I just sort of, once I've done with the stamping and the offcuts, I trim all the papers up and then I just stamp out tabs and keep hold of them. And it's just a really easy and fun way to add a little bit of colour to something. So yeah, I'd really recommend doing that. If you stamp a lot and you have like messy offcuts, keep them. They're really handy. This is my Fortnum's order, which I do every year. This was a really small one this year because I wasn't going to do it, but I've decided to just do it anyway. Just keep it small. So yeah, December traditions. So I did that. I sent myself a little parcel of joy with some nice bits in. So yeah, sort of talking about that, and that's just recycled packaging. Literally a parcel of joy from Fortnum's. So yeah, just keeping those little traditions alive. And this is just recycling the packaging as well because this was in the box, so that's sort of using that. This was just a load of labels that I just kind of used and thought I'm just going to do like a big list of things. So this is just kind of what I got up to, and I just took advantage of using all the gold numbers to kind of to do 14 things of what I was up to. Picked some different fonts as well to kind of mix it up, so that was just fun, and sort of festive colours. It's a big picture of Clem at the tree because we've kind of established that she won't eat a real tree, but she will eat a plastic tree. So we've kind of focused on getting real trees in the last couple of years, so it stops her from chomping on everything. This is again recycling a paper and changing the colours of a digital paper to make it more festive, and just talking about sort of 5 things about Chris being away, and yeah, just sort of general kind of what we ate for tea, talking about feeding Clem her pills wrapped in cheese to trick her into eating them. So yeah, just kind of general life stuff, you know, which is nice. This, which if you follow me and you've seen one of the classes I did recently, maybe it was for nature. Yeah, I kind of recreated this layout in a classroom for Ali recently, but this was me kind of doing the original thing. Where I just added in photos again, ugly photos, my computer shutting down, you know, a sunset, but you know, it's not the best photo of a sunset ever, a blurry picture of my husband walking home, and then a little picture of Clem on the sofa. But I just used these to then create this kind of little waterfall, and then added in some labels with my journaling for each kind of point. So just talking about like what we got up to that day. And yeah, just keeping it really kind of cute but simple. This is again recycling. This is a salt packaging, which is just very festive. So yeah, I used that and some Ali papers. That's an old crepe paper. It's just using what I have really, creating another big label there of my cat's big fluffy feet and tail, and just sort of talking about that, getting kind of finished with work and having a big lay-in, and yeah, tidying the kitchen and things. And then this, which was a kind of a layered of multiple photos. So I've got me with my cats, back when I had ginger hair. The puzzle that I was working on while she was sat on the sofa with me, dining room table, sorry, with a big picture of the puzzle in the background, and then just again like just stacking this all up, so the journaling from the day, so just kind of layering it all up on top of itself. Ali did like a wreath with a puzzle years ago, and it was really cool. So we're just kind of looking for ways to kind of recreate certain things but with different shapes, and then just again like layering up, foil, layer. I love it. And then this again was a straight scrap lift from Ali's, maybe it was last year, her kind of December, her Christmas Eve. So I just used two big numbers for the 24, and then keeping all these a little bit smaller, just talking about what we did on Christmas Eve, because we were at home at Christmas, so it was quite a quiet one. So it was more about like Christmas Eve was a bit more kind of baking, puzzles, building Lego, drinking old fashions, going to the pub, all the kind of things that we normally do. So yeah, just got a picture of the pub, sandwiched in with these little half circles, me baking, making cookies, a picture of me in my Christmas pajamas with Clem's weird little face on the floor, which again, a good way to get photos of you and your family in your PJs. Put your phone on the floor and step back and put it on a timer, and if you can all have you all in a row, then that's a cute photo, particularly if you can get like the tree behind you or something. So yeah, that's just that. And then me with her again. She still looks so freaked out in these pictures. I think it's because the timer, the light was flashing, and she was getting a bit fixated. Watching Home Alone on Christmas Eve, painting my nails and eating cookies and things. And then yeah, just an old fashioned there. And then yeah, just keeping it really simple then for Christmas Day. I just put one photo or two photos in. I made this earlier in the year during sort of prep days. This is cute heart with a wet netting, and then a shaker pocket. So I just added that on there with the 25. And then on the reverse, added just a picture with my journaling, and then this big bottle of Moe. And then just a cheers, because that was when we were cooking Christmas dinner. And then just absolute carnage. I always like to put in an embrace this merry mess, because I feel like it's honest, you know. Watching Muppet Christmas Carol, absolute carnage, Clem's butt, all of our lovely presents, and just yeah, all together in the house. So just really lovely. So yeah, that's it. That's 2023. So I'm now getting my brain in gear for 2024 and all the joy that that's going to bring. I'm starting to kind of think about prep and like what I can do to kind of make my life easier. I'm not great with foundation pages. I found over the years that they don't necessarily work for me very well, because I can't always decide what I'm going to do on each day. And if I kind of give myself no space and then I need to have a lot to say, I find it really difficult to know how to handle that, and vice versa. If I give myself loads of space to say lots of words and then nothing happens, it's really hard to kind of deal with that. So I tend to just sort of work as I go, which is why it takes me so long to finish everything, to be fair. But yeah, that will not go back in that pocket. But yeah, so we'll see how I get on this year. I'm gonna try and do a little bit of foundation work and just really be vague, not, you know, dictate any particular days. I think I'm going to do like some planning about pages that I might like to make, and then not necessarily with anything in mind, just like sort of on scraps of paper or something, and then that just gives me kind of jumping off points when I get to the day if I don't really know how to start it. I kind of did that with this one, whereas like way in advance I knew I wanted to do something with 4 and kind of having things behind little brads. So yeah, stuff like that. I'm just going to try and think about some things in advance just to kind of save my myself the headache, because each year I end up taking longer and longer to finish it. So I really, really, really would love to finish in like January or February for a year, but we'll see what happens, because I'm also honest with myself and I know that, you know, it's not always possible, so we pivot. So there we go, big old monster album, another one. I can't do anything in small amounts. I mean, it's a beast. It's a bigger beast than last year even, so I have problems condensing things. But there we go. So yeah, any questions about anything at all, give me a shout below, and I'll maybe be back and sort of try to do some bits and pieces on the lead up to Christmas in videos and things, but I never make big promises because I just don't know how it's going to pan out, you know, with work and things. So sometimes I have more and less time than I think I'm going to. So yeah, I'll see how it goes. But yeah, big love to everybody. If you're finishing off in these couple of months leading up to Christmas, massive luck to you, because it's big. It's a big project. Every year it's big, and I think every year you kind of forget how big it is. So be gentle with yourself, and do you know what, if you're feeling too stressed or it's not going the way you want it to, then it's not defeatist to step away from it and come back to it when you're in a better sort of frame of mind, because you'll be happier with the pages that you make ultimately. I could have crammed in stuff really fast, but I know I wouldn't have been happy with that album when I looked back on it, and I'd see the bits where I was rushing. Like, I know that last page in here, I know that I rushed it because I just wanted it to be done. I wanted to see the back of it, but I've kind of made my peace with the fact that that was just one page. So it's okay with me. But yeah, so I think just be realistic with your expectations and be gentle with yourself, I think, is the best advice I can give you. Not that you've asked, but there we go. And yeah, and I'll leave it there. Yeah, and anything else, yeah, I'll chat with you again at some point. And find me on Instagram. If you're only seeing me through YouTube, find me on Instagram. I'm at Nellie and Clem, and yeah, chat with me there. I'm around. I'm very DM heavy when it comes to sort of December stuff, so don't feel scared to message me or DM me about anything that you need to know. And yeah, good luck to everyone. Big love, big festive love. And I'll speak to you all soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.